Fuck GameStop.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the NoLife Tech Show. We got quite a bit of news to talk about here, so let's just get right up into this. First thing I want to talk about, I do want to recommend a book that I've recently been reading. It's called American Kingpin by Nick Bilton, and it is about the guy who created Silk Road and the hunt to take him down, and is a fucking fascinating read. I highly, highly recommend it. If you are into
Audible.
Yes, there is an audiobook. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's super fascinating. If you like true crime, if you like tech or anything like that, this is an excellent read, especially if you grew up around the era of, like, you know, the Silk Road boom, which was a crazy time of the internet when Bitcoin was like, you know, $5 to get. So I highly, highly recommend that. And other than other media, I've still been I have a backlog of other readings that I've been trying to get to, but this one has been taking up a lot of my time. Have you been listening or watching anything recently, or reading?
No. I've been too busy with work. Basically, the only thing I've been able to do is catch up podcasts during commutes. That's about it.
Yeah, put the podcast down. Pick this one up on audiobook. You'll enjoy it. You will really enjoy this.
I will also say, looping back to last week, that is one app Apple totally gets right. Their podcast app is 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it works great. And it has like the speed feature, which I don't use, but I found out a lot of people actually listen to their podcast at 1.5 speed.
Speed feature, and then the way it handles downloads.
Yeah. Yeah, they do it pretty well. And it's just a native, you know, any native sort of thing. Like I like their iBooks app too. Their iBooks app is really great. It's like curation, like it'll recommend books to me, and they've always been really good. And this was one that was recommended to me, and I was like, oh shit, I would like to read this. All right, let's get into another thing I want to talk about, the iPad. Dude, the iPad is so legit, man. I've been using my iPad more and more lately, and I mean, fuck, man, is this new iPad so good? If you are really thinking about the future of computing, because I can get so much done on my iPad that I
could. Yeah,
what?
Trust me, I have.
What? Thinking of the future of computing?
Yeah, and it's like it totally could be an iPad.
Yeah.
You do everything I said every week.
It's so close. It's so close. And I can get so much done on an iPad, but not everything. But we're so close. But like just media, just like I didn't realize how much note taking I do, and like taking notes for this channel, for my other channel, doing like blueprinting, scheduling stuff. Boom, on the iPad, boom. It's so easy. It just feels good. It's easy to carry around. The pencil snapping to the side, just like it's just always there for you. It's legit, man. I highly, highly recommend you take a look at, because it's like, you know, a lot of people are like, I'll get a phone and I'll get a laptop, which is always a smart choice. But do not count the iPad out, at least this version of the iPad, because it really does, it'll just increase your productivity and keep you light. You're not weighed down by all the shit that you got to bring with your laptop. All right, now let's get into news. AMD Ryzen leaks. Did you see these yet?
No, I'm looking through them, though.
Oh, man. So we're looking
I'm
at...
half excited and half really disappointed.
All right, well, here's a good one. The Ryzen 3 3300X, 6 cores, 12 threads, 3.5 base, 4.3 boost, 65 watt TDP, $130. That's an excellent CPU. For a budget CPU, that's fucking excellent.
No, like a lot of it seems really fantastic. The thing I'm worried about is if they actually are going to launch these at 14. Because there was a long time of hype of hoping Zen 2 is going to be 7 nanometer.
Yeah. That's the question.
That's what's weird too, is they are working and have some things produced GPU side at 12 nanometer too.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's another 14, that's kind of sucks.
Well, they're saying, well, here from WCCF, they say in the entry-level segment, AMD is allegedly preparing 3 new Ryzen 3 processors dubbed 3300X, 33 and 33G. the latter of which features integrated Navi graphics, while 2 former SKUs are CPU parts only. All 3 feature the 7nm Zen 2 cores, 12 execution threads. 3300G features an integrated 15 compute unit Navi 12 GPU die and will be the first ever 6-core desktop APU from the company. So it's pretty interesting.
If they are 7 nan, then hell yeah, I'm all on board.
And then we have...
It's weird with their stupid graphs. This, I mean, it's WCCF tag. What do you expect?
Yeah.
But no, because they list in their writing it's 7nm. That's been the rumors. But then their graph, they have gigantic fucking pictures that take up the entire fucking screen saying 14nm.
Yeah. 14nm IL for I don't know why they did that. And then this is like kind of what the CPU dies, I guess, looks like, because it has like, if they're visualizing it, you have the 6-core with the 15nm fucking, integrated GPU, which I'm interested in seeing how well of a GPU that is. Because I don't really see any base reference for it. And then on the 8-core side, you have the Ryzen 5s.
No, anything that says Navi, that's not going to be out till the end of the year at best.
2019 or this year?
End of 2019.
Oh, okay.
None of this is coming out this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All of this is 2019, but that would be like...
So when you think we'll see them, like November?
Yeah, probably like late Q3, early Q4 at best. Because, I mean, Navi's still hasn't really been launched or anything yet, so I doubt they'll already be working on a die size that small.
Yeah. On Ryzen,
they will be, because all their stuff system on a chip first. But I still don't.
I mean, maybe we'll get a summer release. If we're getting leaks now, we might see a summer release. Maybe
it is possible, but
earlier.
the G series is always. I mean, the first G series last time there's only been one, and that was a year after the part launched.
Yeah. But I do think they are trying to speed this up, given that Intel is somewhat in a bind. So hopefully we see it a lot earlier than what we normally would see it at. Ryzen 5's the 18-core, 16-thread CPU. The G also has the 20 CU Navi. The 3600X is base at 4, boost at 4.8, and that's with a 95-watt TDP, and that's going for $230. And then the 7 series, you have the 12-core, 24-thread. The 3700X has 4.2 gigahertz with a boost of 5 gigahertz, 105 watt. Yeah, $330, which basically right there. I mean, what is Intel going to do about this? And then on the Ryzen 9 is a 16-core, 32-thread chip. Their 3850X is 4.3 on the base, 5.1 on the boost, with a 135-watt TDP for $500.
Absolutely insane for $500.
Yeah, there's nothing Intel that can compete with that.
Oh no, they have stuff that can compete with it. It just costs twice the price.
Yeah, it's not at that price point. Not at that price point, which is awesome.
Well, the 16 crap. Intel's just spent the last 3 months going off about how awesome they are that they have an 8-core processor at 5 gigs.
Yeah. The i9.
Yeah, the i9 that was supposed to be $550. That's really $900.
Yeah. Yeah. AMD is doubling down on Ryzen and AM4. Literally, we're clearly seeing the effect of the company's high versatile die stacking strategy here, which has been in the works for over a decade. It allows the company to mix and match different logic dies to make different types of products, as we're seeing here, where the high-end Ryzen 7 and 9 chips are actually made up of 2 Zen 2 dies, while the Ryzen 5 and 3 APU parts are made up of a CPU and GPU die connected via Infinity Fabric, which is kind of interesting as well.
Well, that's a lot of their bigger ones too. Even the Ryzen stuff's Infinity Fabric, and it works pretty damn well actually.
Yeah, with the integrated graphics on there.
I mean, even
the
some
Vega
of them,
graphics.
Even some of them chip wise, like all of the Threadripper stuff. That's all it is. And I think some of the first Ryzens were even like 2 4-cores Infinity Fabric together, and it works.
Yeah. This is super compelling, man. This is super compelling. At these prices, I mean, I'm more partial to the R9, but I mean, for $300, maybe $330, you can get a 1224 boosting to 5 gigahertz, and you can pretty much hit 5 gigahertz.
And even if you are super into these, just wait 3 months. AMD does AMD actually does sales on computer hardware, which I know is rare and shocking. But like if you wait and just follow all of your favorite Reddits and things like that, I'm sure you can get those way cheaper. Because I mean, like last time Ryzen did 8 series, so this will be the Ryzen 9 now, but it was a Ryzen 7 8 series. That was $500. Within 2 or 3 months, you could find them for like 300, 400 on sales.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now we're also getting
also the 3600X, like $200, 8-core, 16 thread, can boost to 4.8.
And I'm sure you can get it to 5. Yeah, I'm sure you can get it to 5 with 95 watt TDP.
For an 816 at $200, $230.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Plus 7 nanometers, so it's going to be more power efficient.
And this is why Intel is getting such a bad rep these days, because their prices are insane compared to what AMD can offer.
And if AMD hits, I think their last time it was like 26% IPC increase was their estimation for the last Ryzen, the Ryzen 2 series or the Ryzen 3 series, or 2000 to 3000, whatever they're trying to call it.
Yeah.
Like if you get that much performance out of switching the 7 nanometer, it'll go head to head.
Yeah. No, for sure.
At like half the price. And not just in like multi-threaded applications. It'll actually be probably a lot better and more consistent single-threaded too.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. I would consider buying one because it'll still work at my motherboard.
Yeah. Yeah, so the G's are saying that it says we're going to see the R9 3850X, which is the $500 135 watt TDP chip, May. And then the 3600G and 3300G we'll see Q3. And then we're going to see the rest all debut at CES this year. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. I want to see what the G's look like too.
Yeah, the G's are going to take a while though.
We also got Radeon Radeon 3000 leaks. So I thought this was funny too.
I'm excited because right now is leak time. CES is in a month.
Yeah, baby.
So like if they drop this next month to start the year, like that would be pretty baller.
Yeah. That's what WCCF Tech is saying. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. No, that's really fucking tempting. I mean, especially like the 36 series, whatever, like if it's anything like all the old ones, like you can get a 6 series or 36. So I have a 1600 that I like overclocked to way past 4 and got to the level of the X version.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's like that, you could probably even get the 178 the Ryzen 5 3600 8-core 16 threads. Its base is 3.6, boost is 4.4. You might be able to push that to just as high.
And then on the graphics side, we also got Radeon leaks. Now get this. Radeon AMD's Navi RX series cards will be named the RX 3080, 3070, and 3060. So they're basically taking the next name of NVIDIA's chips, except taking away the T, if you think about it, which would be super confusing, but also a super aggressive move by them. Here, I'll drop I didn't put it in the thing. I forgot about it.
I'll look at that. No, it's good.
Here, I'll drop it in our chat.
I mean, they definitely like to do that, so I would not be surprised at all.
What was their last Radeon graphics called?
It was just Vega.
Or no. I should say the numbered series cards.
Like what, the 470?
Was it 4?
480, then 570, 580. Yeah.
Right. So then going 30. They're just going 3080. That makes no sense in the naming scheme.
No, it makes sense to make it better than the competitor because they do the same bullshit for motherboards. Like
like X390 and then the X fucking 270.
Right. No, because Oh, yeah, Ryzen was coming out. So at the time, the best motherboard you could buy for Intel was what, the Z170, and then
Yep.
I think the Z270. So AMD's like, oh, we're launching the X3 370 motherboard.
Yeah. 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 It's great,
And
but
then
also super
and then
confusing.
then no, and then the other Intel motherboard was, oh, then you have the, the H150 or whatever, and then the H250. So AMD's, oh, you can get the 350B, now the 450B, and it's just like, God, what the fuck, dude?
So here there was a leak. AMD is allegedly readying 3 brand new graphics cards based on its 7-nanometer Navi graphics architecture. And if this leak, courtesy of Adored TV, is accurate, they're going to sell like hotcakes. The vulnerable YouTuber also dropped a massive leak earlier today detailing the specs and prices of AMD's upcoming 7-nanometer Ryzen 3000 series chips.
This is also all coming from Adored.
It's not Adored.
All right, guys, how's
or
it?
Adored? Maybe Adored. I don't know. He definitely has times where he's pretty objective, but I do have to admit, having seen a good amount of his YouTube content,
I've never heard of the guy.
he is a biased as fuck, die-hard shill for AMD at times.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, there's definitely times where he can be very objective, but like there was like a marking point, like I think around when Ryzen was coming out, that like his channel just took like a straight shift towards like everyone from Intel is lying, this and that, conspiracy theories at times, and then like, nope, AMD's like the savior.
Dude, there's been a few of them, man. There's been a few of them that I mean, I can understand why. One, it gets clicks. A lot of the consumer base is sort of up in arms around NVIDIA and Intel. They're kind of sick of their bullshit. So then you kind of play into those hands, man, and it'll make you some money. It'll get you some clicks.
But like, it does get him clicks. But like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't hate him, because like he does do research, and most of the things he does try to talk about, he has facts behind. I'm not trying to discredit him or anything, but his channel definitely did start having a good amount of bias.
Yeah. By the way, those graphs that you see are from his channel.
I know. Trust me, I noticed that. But then when you have this coming up too, where it's just like, okay, I do have to throw this out as a disclaimer of being aware of this guy's content. And a lot of it's good content. Like, it's not that it's bad content, but it is definitely very biased one way than the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't ever just get your shit from, you got to make sure you get all of it together. But all right, so here's some of his content where he's talking about the Navi chips. Radeon 3060 might be coming in at 130, 4 gigabytes of GDDR6, 75 watt TDP. It should be, he's saying it should be equal to an RX 580. Then the 3070 is $200, 120 watts, should be equal to a Vega 56. And then the 3080 at 250 should be equal to a Vega 64 with around 15% increase above that.
If it actually hits remotely close to what he's hoping here, yeah, no, that there's no, unless you really care about ray tracing, there's no fucking point of buying any of those new ray tracing cards.
Yeah.
Like, being realistic.
Yeah.
Because then that turns into, you either buy a 10 series NVIDIA on sale really cheap, you overpay for ray tracing just for ray tracing, or you buy AMD, whose performance is going to be pretty spanking, it sounds like.
Yeah.
If that ends up being true.
For the money that you get, this is a very, very competitive pricing. Or for the performance that you get for the money, this is very, very competitive.
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, what he's trying to say is,
if you can get Vega 64 plus 15% at 250, that's insane.
Yeah, and yeah, that's absolutely insane, and that is basically, like, he's right there. It's a 2070, which is a $500 card.
Yeah.
So it's either you pay the 250 or the 500 for the same card, just one has ray tracing.
Yeah.
So
Which I wouldn't count out either.
No, I'm not. But it's one of those like that definitely comes into you either have to really want ray tracing or NVIDIA's really gotta do insane with the DLSS stuff.
Right. That's their best bet. I mean, they're going all in. That's what they have to do. They really need to make a mark. Or if NVIDIA was smart, which they're not really lately, they've definitely taken a hit on stock as well. They need to start.
They also don't have competition except on the low end.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like the 2080s and the 2080 Ti's with the RTX, like those are top line, and if you want the best of the best that you can get, those are the cars that you're gonna get. But when you're talking budget, which most people are, that jump to that Navi 7nm architecture is just, it's so hard to compete with when you're not competing on that level. So we'll see how they answer to this. If we see this at CES, oh man, people are gonna go nuts because there's so much animosity towards NVIDIA.
Like if that came out with that kind of benchmarks and they had,
I'd buy 2.
Yeah, like and they had a reviewer actually, because usually AMD does a little bit better of getting review copies to reviewers.
And also we should state AMD's benchmarks before they actually get benchmark are always overstated. At least in the last couple of years they have been.
But like if they get it to third-party reviewers super fast, because like if they come on stage saying, "Hey, dude, yeah, you can buy them as soon as we're done talking here," if there's also reviews coming out from third parties right then, and they're good, yeah, that might be like an instant purchase.
That would be a smart move to get them to like all the reviewers before CES, announce them, allow the purchase at CES, and then people have their decision pretty much made right there. Because I guarantee you, someone like myself who didn't buy the 20 series cards, and I usually always am ahead of the curve on this kind of stuff, I didn't really see a need, man. Like the 1080 Ti is a great card. You know what I mean?
But like, you didn't want to pay $1,200 for like what, 15%?
No. For no games to run the RTX. When I was fucking told there was only like 5. But
no, you have Battlefield now, which I mean is, don't get me wrong, it looks absolutely stunning.
It looks insane, but it's also running at like 45 frames a second.
That is the last game to ever showcase this technology on first.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah, no, I want my competitive first-person shooter at 26 frames per second.
Yeah. With no single player.
Yeah.
Like no story. Like, oh my God, it's funny.
But like, I mean, if it's anything close to that, that's pretty fucking compelling. And I mean, like even like the 3070 or whatever, $200 for a 1070, or like the 3060. So what? You have a 1060 for $130.
Dude, you can get. Well, I need to look back at the price.
And it doesn't have a 6-pin connector. If that's true, if that comes out with a non 6-pin connector, so you can run it in anything, or like your Best Buy box, with a crappy proprietary power supply, so you can't actually get a 6-pin connector on it. And now you have a 1060 for $130 instead of a 1050 at the same price. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. So you could essentially get, if you needed a fucking 8-core 16-threaded CPU, which for a lot of people you don't really even need that. But if you needed that,
you could have a 2070, an 8-core 6-thread CPU that boosts to almost 5 gigahertz
for $500.
Throw in a motherboard combo for an extra like $60, because that's the other thing. AMD motherboards are a lot cheaper.
Yep.
They can also overclock all of them. And then add memory and an SSD. You're speaking like you're gonna push like 650
Yeah.
$700 for a 2070 performance with an 8-core CPU, almost pushing 5 gigahertz.
Yeah, it's
That's
insane.
insane. Fuck. Like that. Okay, that might be my new challenge build.
That's what I was just thinking.
No, like that's totally if and it's based off the graphics card entirely. But if this 3080 comes out at $250 and is a 2070 1080 performance, dude, that's the challenge then. Okay, try to build an entire fucking computer that's banging for the price of a 2070.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
And it's so doable.
Just for gaming. And
Yeah.
you would still have the performance you would need for any sort of editing. I mean, it's not the top of the line, but it'll bang.
You could probably even make, if you're willing to spend a little bit extra, you could probably do $600, make a dope little mini ITX rig.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, dope little travel rig.
Or like a streaming PC, like a badass streaming editing PC, and offload all of the processing to like spend a little extra of that budget. Maybe you have $800 for a brand new PC. Drop it into a 1224 or 1632. Bang.
All right. I'm ready for CES now. So I already thought I had my next little PC.
Well, dude, calm down because we also got, get ready for this, but we also got Titan RTX just got announced, bro.
Oh. Okay. Well,
guess how much?
You killed my boner already.
Guess how much?
If it's like the last one, $3,000.
$2,500.
Yeah.
The
Sounds
Titan,
about right.
Titan RTX.
Because like what, the Titan V or whatever, wasn't that $3,000?
Yes.
For a 1080 Ti.
Yep, Titan V.
I mean,
was
it's better than a
3000.
1080 Ti at least.
You just get like a little extra more RAM.
Yeah.
It's basically the same architecture, same card, just extra RAM involved. This one has 4,600 CUDA cores, 576 tensor cores. If we're comparing it to the 2080 Ti, it's a considerable bump. It's not too small, but it's not large either. Same core clock, boost clock to 1770. It's a little bit higher of a boost clock compared to the Founders 2080 Ti. 14 gigabits or gigabytes per second. 384-bit as opposed to 352-bit on the memory bus. I mean, it's just like a spec bump, but you're getting double the RAM. You're getting 24 gigabytes of VRAM instead of 11. That's basically it. Same architecture, same GPU. You're getting 2 more teraflops of performance.
I mean, I thought I was already about to buy a new computer, but I'm waiting.
No, you have to wait now.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking insane.
You would get so much more performance for the money you would spend now.
You could build. Okay, think of it this way. You could probably get 4 of those 3080s and a case and a motherboard worth using them and make an entire super server system for the price of that bullshit Titan card.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I want to know who buys these Titans. If you're not working for Pixar, who are buying these Titans? Because they keep making them. And they do sell.
People with a lot of money.
They do sell. There's literally no reason to get this unless you are CGI and you're rendering out computer graphics. It's the only, and I guess AI too nowadays, but even then you would just get more, you would want more cards as opposed to just one crazy card. It makes no sense. I never understood the Titan series cards. I never understood them.
Like I get them to an extent, but it's totally it's more you just have more money than you know what to do with, and you're buying it as a show, like a stage piece.
Yeah, which is cool, but
yeah, it's for YouTubers.
Cool, but yeah,
like it's for Linus Tech Tips. You know what I mean? To just be like, yeah, like my Titan. That's about it.
Jay's 2 cents. He loves his Titans for some reason.
Yeah, he already leaked it like I think 3 days ago, like a week ago, because he just like had the box in his like all of his videos.
Yeah. So did
Like you could
Linus.
just like, yeah, like they would both just like keep just walking around, just like pick up a box and it'd be sitting there and then move the box and have it on display. Like,
Oops,
I
I
don't know what
wasn't
I'm
paid
doing.
by NVIDIA.
And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, I was about to buy a Nook, but yeah, maybe not.
No, I wouldn't. No, definitely not.
I'm waiting.
Definitely not.
Well, cause they just released a new Nook yesterday, putting it up for pre-order,
Intel?
and I've been thinking about it. Yeah, it's what I wanted the Mac Mini to be. It is sadly only a dual core, but it's a dual core 10 nanometer. It's that stupid i3 that's their only 10 nanometer part available. And it comes with an AMD Radeon 540 with 2 gigabytes graphics.
How much?
Yeah, $500.
Hmm.
Because they're only selling it as a full computer with soldered RAM and a soldered hard drive.
Yeah. I mean, at that
And
point, just
Windows
build a
10.
little mini ITX fucking 3600X.
Yeah, it's more just the like, yeah, dude, I want the i3 10 nanometer chip with the AMD Radeon graphics on it. That's a budget Hades Canyon.
I mean, if it was in something like a Mac Mini, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, that's what I wanted.
Yeah. But it being in like those Nook houses, it's like you might as well build a mini ITX at that point.
I would consider that, but yeah, fuck no, dude. It looks like I might build a new Ryzen PC.
Yeah. Also, Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 promises big improvements to AI performance connectivity. They officially took the wraps. This is out of Verge. They officially took the wraps off the Snapdragon 855, its next-gen processor, yesterday at the Snapdragon Tech Summit. So we're starting to get into 5G. On the connectivity front, the 855 chipset will feature the Qualcomm's new X24 modem, notably not the X50 modem that will enable 5G functionality, which will be separate ad for companies that want to offer it. That's important. Snapdragon 855 alone won't give you the full 5G, but the X24 is still a big jump over the existing X20 modem. So they're priming 5G. 5G is still, I think, a year or two out anyway.
Yeah.
And we still need to kind of need to work the kinks out on that. There's still a lot of weird like licensing things that need to go with all that 5G bullshit.
And deciding what 5G is.
Yeah.
Because that's always a fucking issue because everyone has their own fucking idea of what 4G is and what 3G is and this and that. And I want to kill myself.
Yeah. The 855 will support both fast mmWave and longer range sub 6 gigahertz 5G networks when paired with the X50 modem to give devices the full range of 5G support, something we've already been seeing with the upcoming 5G Moto Mod attachment. Have you seen that, dude?
Yeah. I thought about it buying it actually.
Really? Do you have the Moto Mod? The
No.
Moto G?
No. I used to really like some of those weird Moto phones a lot. But so I was considering it, but it's just that okay, the mod's really cool and it's cool having it like work as a 5G phone.
But it's the size of like a a TI 85 calculator.
It's fucking huge and it still attaches to it, which in the end of 2018 is still a fucking shit phone from 2 years ago.
Yeah. It is a funny little fucking thing though.
Because like that phone hasn't been updated since I think like the beginning of last year.
Yeah. No, they need to.
It attaches to a phone with an 835 Snapdragon in it.
Yeah. The 855 will add faster Wi-Fi. Qualcomm claims it's the first mobile chip with faster Wi-Fi 6, formerly 802.11ax and 802.11ay millimeter wave Wi-Fi. Both are theoretically capable of up to 10 gigabits speeds. When it comes to performance, Qualcomm says the A55, which is the chipmaker's first to use the 7nm process, similar to Apple's A12 Bionic, will offer 20% more graphics performance thanks to the Adreno 640 GPU. The Cryo 485 CPU will also bring a 45% CPU performance increase thanks to its 8 cores. I am curious to see how it stacks up to the Bionic chips.
I'm expecting it to still be worse, but I want Qualcomm or ARM to like. And when I say ARM, I mean like the main licensing company I want them to compete more just because I know we'll see it in more devices.
Like laptops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, right now it's
I
just
am
not there.
interested in a lot more ARM-based computing because Amazon, they release ARM servers now for smaller tasks, which I think is cool. But also related to ARM, I've been working through trying to learn how to better use Flutter, which is a language from Google. Well, it's more of a framework for their language, but it's native ARM coding. So I want more toys to play around with, basically. So I want them to do good because I want to be able to buy like a stupid laptop for $300 that's good enough, that's cellular. That'd be sick.
Yeah. Yeah, because with Apple's side, you're not going to be spending $300.
Yeah,
When they
I
drop their
this,
ARM MacBook, it's going to be like $1,500, you know.
And
that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I want to see.
I'm waiting for that too, but I don't know how. I don't know. I'm really hoping. I don't know. Fucking NoLife said it on the Vergecast, and I know they'll never make it. But seriously, I think it would be so cool if they made a Mac Pro that had an Intel chip in it and a really kick-ass ARM coprocessor.
Like the T2. It's like what the T2 is.
But like an actual, like, you know.
But actually processing instead
right.
of just sending some tasks to it.
And like you could use both. That would be so fucking sick. It would be such a headache to build, but that would be so cool.
Yeah. Then there's also they're trying to build more AI stuff in it, and I think when you read the article from The Verge, it says Qualcomm says it's been working with Google to advance the search giant's open source machine learning TensorFlow library, specifically on device for mobile performance, and that makes sense. So Google is probably like, hey, let's focus a little bit more on TensorFlow and trying to build more cool AI shit. So you can basically point your phone at a sign and it tells you, maybe the sign's in a different language and it tells you what that sign says. And that's kind of what this chip is supposed to do quicker. So there's no lag or anything like that. There's Nulby, which is, where is it? It said something about it right here. Another unique AI task that doesn't involve vision at all is the ability to isolate someone's voice on a phone call. That's kind of interesting. Here's the camera stuff. Camera's also getting some exciting new changes with an updated Spectra 380 ISP, according to Qualcomm. With the 855 computational processing for things like computer vision powered portrait modes, AR, VR functions, and more are integrated directly into the ISP, offering a significant speed boost and power reduction for computationally heavy photography tasks. What I'm more interested in, and what I think these companies need to focus on, and it says it right here, is, you know, the HEIF image processing bit rates, crunching that down. Let me shoot better 4K HDR images on my phone and not take up as much space, but also give me that 10-bit recording codec and stuff like that. And that's all processor heavy shit that, you know, these companies need to figure out. Apple does a pretty good job of it, but it's still not to a point where it's competing with a DSLR.
Plus I mean, for other normal people too, like the depth sensing at 60 frames, that's kind of cool.
Yep.
If you can record 60 frames per second in portrait mode type bullshit.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
No, that's awesome. Because anything like if you're a YouTuber and you're setting up talking head stuff, you could do it on your phone, and then it'll blur that background out. And it'll make it look like you're shooting on a DSLR, but in reality, you're shooting on your phone. That would be awesome. That would also be kind of crazy to see.
I would love to see that on a Pixel.
They do a little bit of it now, but like when you take portrait mode on the iPhone, you can kind of see it, but it's still janky. It doesn't process until you take that picture. I haven't seen it done on the fly.
No, I haven't seen anyone do it on the fly.
It'd be interesting if they can do that. Qualcomm says their next phone will support 10-bit HDR gaming for the first time. There's support for Vulkan 1.1. 20% performance improvement over the competing OpenGL ES.
That's interesting. Okay, they're going with Vulkan.
Yep.
Huh.
In the video realm, you'll support HDR10 and Dolby Vision standards for brighter, more vivid displays, which is good, but now you need the screens to accompany that.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of screens will tell you, hey, we are HDR compatible we can pump out HDR, but there's a certain level of brightness that you absolutely need to hit those levels. And a lot of TVs fall victim to this. They say they have HDR, but when you look at it, you're like, why does my TV look like shit with HDR on? It's all washed out. It's because there's not enough brightness there. It's just a marketing gimmick at that point. So you have to be very careful with HDR. That's the problem with it right now. The chips have enough performance for HDR video at 120 frames per second, or even 360-degree panoramic video at 8K resolution for volumetric VR, and the hardware accelerated H.265 and VP9 video codec support. You'll see a 7 times power savings compared to playing back video without it. That's potentially more battery life too. So that's pretty much the big stuff out of the new Qualcomm chip. So it's an interesting chip. They're definitely trying to compete with the new Bionic chips. I want to see how they actually stack up, and I do want to see raw performance, because these chips are literally insane what Apple has produced. So Qualcomm needs to really step their game up, because we need Google to compete on that level. Not even just Google, because I'm kind of done with Google. We need Samsung. We need
competition
one
in the tech world.
Yeah. Yeah. What did I call them? One Touch? They're not called One Touch. What's that? OnePlus. Yeah, we need them to really compete performance-wise. That way we can get those ARM laptops that we all fucking want, man. All right. God, there's so much news. The Razer Stealth.
That, and also, I don't know, to go back to that real quick, I'm really interested in what they're going to do with the camera.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, dude. If you can put that kind of shit on a Pixel, that's pretty sexy.
Yeah.
That's really fucking sexy.
Yeah. I want to see what they do with video. I want to see them make better video creating machines, basically. Exactly.
Because the Pixel will make better pictures all day long, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's still shit for video.
Yeah, and it sucks, man. Because that camera is so great, but it just doesn't... I guess the compression, the way that processor compresses that data, they just don't do it as well as the Bionic does. And that's more enticing for me. I take a lot more video than I take photo on my phone. All right, the Razer Stealth, the new one got released. Have you seen this? Razer Stealth has come out.
Now, is it a gaming blade stealth, or is it a what?
It is somewhat of a gaming blade stealth. So the new Razer Blade Stealth is now...
Never stop giving Razer so much shit for their branding.
Razer Blade Stealth Gaming Series 13 is now available with a more powerful NVIDIA GeForce MX 150 4GB graphics chip and the new Whiskey Lake Intel Core i7 processors for up to 4 times performance increase in gaming and content creation, featuring up to 4K resolution in a thin bezel. So they basically took the design of their newer Razer laptops. They put it in a 13-inch chassis. They gave you Whiskey Lake. They gave you the MX 150 with 4 gigabytes of GDDR6, and it's a pretty damn cool looking little 13-inch banger, dude. Razer is always enticing me. Every new computer they release entices me more and more to get their products.
Yeah, and their keyboards aren't that bad. And it's got a good amount of ports on it.
Yep, it's got Thunderbolt on it, so you can slap it up to an eGPU, and because it's Windows, you can throw in, any sort of GPU you want, run any game that you want. They have that vapor chamber cooler in there that seems to be working really, really well these days, which is nice.
Still pretty pricey, but
yeah,
it's pretty sexy. Because if you want all of that goodness, it does cost $1,900.
Yeah, it's super expensive, but that is a powerful 13-inch laptop that you can edit.
16 if you go with a 1080p screen.
Yeah, and I mean at 13 inches, you probably should go with a 1080p screen. But then again, this is capable of editing 4K. And that's kind of what I look at it as, like how well can it actually edit video, and to have a 13-inch thing like that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
It is dope, but it also apparently gets 3 hours less battery life.
Oh,
than the 1080.
Yeah, that's
You're paying $200 for that 4K screen with touch.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
8 hours
Yeah, it
versus
says
11.
Yeah. I mean, 8 hours is enough, but it's realistically like 6.
Yeah.
It's realistically like 6. And when you're actually video editing, it's realistically like 2.
4. Yeah.
You know? But I'm in the market for a new laptop. I'm still partial to spending $5,000 on a MacBook Pro, but this kind of stuff does entice me. I would like a 13-inch. That would be nice.
Would hope buy an iMac.
Dude, imagine if I bought this fucking MacBook and then this spring coming up, they release a new version with like all of the new fucking AMD shit in there. That's what I'm worried about.
AMD, but I wish they would.
I don't know. I think they're sick of Intel.
I know they are, but they're gonna start doing their own thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do wish that entirely. That like no, dude, just just make a full Ryzen thing because it's possible. I built a Ryzen Touch.
Yeah,
it works. It's possible.
No, they can definitely.
It's not even that hard, actually.
They can definitely do it. We'll see. Yeah, maybe I will get the MacBook. I don't know. All right, Japan's. Go ahead.
If you're undecided, I would just wait.
I know. I've been waiting. And then I'm
but
glad I did.
It's only like a year old too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm still more in team. You should just buy a new desktop and keep your current laptop and iPad.
Yeah. Well, I would sell this laptop. I'd probably get about half of what I paid for it, and that would give me about half of what. That would take about half of the price off of whatever MacBook I would buy. But then again, like, do I still? I don't know. I am probably gonna wait. It works perfectly fine. All right, Japan's NHK to start broadcasting 8K by satellite this year. So we're getting into 8K. The reason I bring this up is because there's rumors of a new Sony camera coming out. We are waiting for the Sony a7S III, which is their video-centric camera.
It's really kind of cool that they're already They're going to be broadcasting in 8K and 4K.
Yeah,
because no one's even really done 4K so far.
No,
and not in the States.
No, and they're going to be pushing 8K, and the pixels on 8K is 7680 by 4320. That's insanity, dude. That's insanity. That is what is that? A 24 megapixel image. That's a high level DSLR, full res, full raw image. One frame that actually takes a little bit of like processing power to edit. That's going to be spit out at a frame rate of 60 per second through, whatever fucking bandwidth that they have in Japan, which is probably insane. So if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Japan. They're calling it super high vision. And super excited.
Whatever they're smoking.
But the reason I bring this up is because Sony, we've been hearing rumors about a new camera. We don't know if it's the A7R3 or A7S III, but we're hoping the A7S III we were hoping it brings us 4K 60. That was the plan. That was the idea. That was like what everyone was hoping for. But then all of a sudden we start getting rumors, high-level rumors, SR4 rumors from Sony Alpha, saying that we might be seeing an 8K 30 frame per second camera on the horizon for consumers to buy, and that we might get it announced at CES. Sony will have an official press conference and product announcement day on January 7th at 5 p.m. Las Vegas time. Usually Sony doesn't announce new E-mount gear at CES. Last time this happened was in 2014 for the A5000, but you never know. And from a reliable source, we heard Sony will focus on unveiling a full 8K platform, which includes 8K television, 8K laser projector, 8K camera camcorder, 8K processing platform, post-processing platform. So, yeah, we might be seeing double 4K, which is already quadruple full HD. So that just imagine how much more information. It's insane. It's fucking insane. Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm ready for it as well. I'm ready for it as well. Tumblr.
PPI is king.
Tumblr will ban adult content this month.
This pisses me off.
Why does it piss you off?
Do you know why they're banning everything?
From what I heard, they're banning everything because Apple pulled them from the App Store.
Yep.
for child pornography.
Like, everything about this is skeezy as fuck.
So, dude, I remember one time I went on Tumblr, and I don't remember why I was on Tumblr. I never used Tumblr. I used to have one that kind of, when it like first came out, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. It's like a blogging platform.
Yeah. Like, I used it a lot when it first came out for a year or two.
It was pretty cool, like as a blogging platform.
Yeah, and but like also like when it was,
it's kind of like a janky medium.
Yeah, but then I was on top of that, like when it was brand new, like there was a lot of cool shit on it that you definitely couldn't easily find other places.
Yeah, but I remember stumbling upon.
My mother has one.
Oh, I remember stumbling upon like some self-harm Tumblrs, and like there were some really graphic images of like people like cutting themselves, like really bad, like looking like they're gonna die, cutting themselves. And it was like glorifying. There was a whole community of people glorifying this trend, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? And then I found out about all the furries, and then I found out about the child porn that was getting circulated through Tumblr. So I'm not surprised that Apple doesn't like that shit on their app store. They're very, very strict on the app store. For my other channel, I wouldn't even be able to create an app, and that's as benign as vaping. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. But for them to actually change their start banning people.
No, their entire website.
Yeah.
Which for a time was like the it was either the fourth or eighth biggest website in the entire like web.
Well, really? Was that big?
Yeah, it's that fucking big.
Yeah. Yeah, so they basically kind of committed seppuku and will basically any adult content primarily includes photos, videos, or GIFs that show real-life human genitals or female presenting nipples, and any contact including photos, videos, GIFs, and illustrations that depicts sex acts. So any sort of cartoons that you make, any furry cartoons, that's all gone. Anything except for like it says here images of nipples related to breastfeeding, birth, or images of afterbirth or health-related situations will be allowed. So basically any sort of sexual thing at all, they're just going to take. And from reading this, you find out that they're banning like more than that. Like the algorithm that they set into place is like over banning. A lot of people are getting banned for not posting anything like that. It's just the algorithm is kind of going crazy. And yeah. Now, in an email, this was an update on this article. An email spokesperson from Tumblr clarified that the removal of adult content was not related to the app's removal from the iOS store. But I find that hard to believe. I do find that hard to believe.
Yeah, same. It's because they got removed out the App Store.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
And will they get put back on the App Store?
I
don't think so. Apple is not known for putting things back on the App Store once you've been removed.
But like they're claiming it's due to spam bots, and like, God, I haven't used this website in 6 years, but even back then every other follower or person on it was a fucking sex bot.
Yeah. No, the Tumblr was never, it quickly grew into a pretty shitty place.
Yeah.
So whatever, maybe they're trying to clean it. They're trying to revive it, I guess, really. Is what this is.
And like there is still communities out there that I'd found that were pretty good, but it's definitely a lot rarer than it was.
Yeah,
now it's just sex bots. Like,
Giuliani says his Twitter was sabotaged. Giuliani says Twitter sabotaged his tweet. Did you read this?
Rudy Giuliani says Twitter sabotaged his tweet. Actually, he did it himself.
Did you read this at all? Did you hear what happened?
Nah.
All right, so his tweet, he writes, Mueller filed an indictment just as the president left for G-20, so G20 summit. And then he writes period in July, but he didn't put a space between the period and then the word in. So it hyperlinked G-20.in. Someone bought that domain really quickly. And when you click on that domain, the big headline says, Donald J. Trump is a traitor to our country. Breaking, special counsel calls ex-national security advisor Michael Flynn's cooperation substantial. Recommends no jail time. Fucking brilliant troll. And then Giuliani goes and starts spouting out like his next tweet after that: Twitter allowed someone to invade my text with a disgusting anti-president message. The same thing, period, no space, occurred later, and it didn't happen. Don't tell me they are not committed card-carrying anti-Trumpers. Time magazine also may fit that description. Fairness, please. This dude is fucking losing his mind, man.
No shit.
Giuliani has lost his mind. He has lost his mind. It's kind of sad to see, really. He's losing it. I don't know if it's dementia. I don't know if it's insanity, but this was a brilliant troll. This was a brilliant troll. Oh man, that was so great. All right, last topic. Is YouTube going to die? I want to ask this question. All right. So I've been following the Defy Media scandal that has recently...
It's a GoDaddy website. Everything about it just says GoDaddy.
Oh, so they hid it?
Yeah, they have everything hidden from who is, etc.
Yeah. Good. Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move. I wonder if you can
Bad
inspect
news
the
on using
page.
fucking GoDaddy, but...
Yeah, there's
whatever.
nothing on the page inspection either. They didn't hide anything. It just says anonymous. So I've been following this Defy Media scandal that has kind of popped up, and there was an article written on The Verge today about it. YouTube creators blindsided by major networks collapse. Go check it out if you want to read a little bit more into it. But essentially, Defy Media is an MCN, and the way that they were created was Smosh, the creator of Smosh, Anthony Padilla, and his buddy, sold Smosh to this company. And this company said, hey, we will, instead of giving you money, we'll give you stock in our company as soon as we go public. And him being young and an idiot, he said, okay. The company never went public. So he sold Smosh at the height of its fucking popularity for $0. He got no money out of it other than the salary that they paid him, which is insane to me. It was probably worth in the tens of millions, Smosh. So imagine how, I mean, he's probably rich now anyway, so it doesn't hurt. It doesn't sting to him as much, but that still stings, man. But since then, Defy has gone on to bring other people in. They did the whole Clever Media thing. They got in a few other bigger creators. A lot of them kind of came underneath Defy Media MCN. Well, then Defy Media shut down, and they were just told everyone, hey, we're shutting down, and that's it. We're all done. They held all of the money that was supposed to be given to these creators for that month, for that quarter, however they pay these creators, and they basically didn't pay them. They shut the doors before paying them. So you got a lot of creators who missed out on a lot of money. One of them is Shane Dawson's boyfriend, and I think he missed out on probably a few million. I mean, you think of Shane Dawson's series and him being in that series, the views just from that alone is probably substantial. So for him to miss out on that money again, he probably missed out on a good $1 million, $2 million. There's a bunch of other creators that are missing like $60,000 to a couple $100,000. It's just a big scandal. There was a few broken contracts in the midst of them closing down that they're getting sued for. So it's this gigantic scandal. And I wanted to talk about the whole MCN thing because I still get emails fucking every day from MCNs. And I almost signed to an MCN, Broadband TV. They actually called me.
And don't.
Right. Never signed to an MCN.
Yeah.
Never.
No, a lot of this is it's a big MCN is shutting down.
Yeah.
So that's why, based off of that idea, no, I don't think YouTube's dying. But, dude, this has been like a major problem for probably 5-6 years now. Of like MCNs and just that. To go back to your other channel, you think vaping world's bad.
Yeah.
So everything I've ever heard about 90% of these MCNs is a fucking shit show.
No, it's a scam. It's literally a scam. So I was very interested I knew what MCNs were before they started to approach me. Because once you reach a certain subscriber threshold, as well as a view threshold, they'll find you and they'll start contacting you. And then you start to feel like, oh, maybe I'm getting a little bit of traction. These guys want to pick me up. They start telling you things like, hey, we're going to help you with your brand. We're going to help you get sponsorships. We're going to bring companies to you for you to do sponsors so you can get paid by them. We're going to help
to be
you.
shitty agents.
Yeah, exactly.
They're also trying to manage your things of like, oh, well, we'll work out a deal with YouTube so you get this much ad revenue on your videos, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yep. But the thing is that a lot of them, from what I've heard, they won't take your ad revenue unless it's on a sponsored video. But for the most part, a lot of your sponsored video is where you're going to make a lot of that money from. So they take like a huge percentage of the sponsored video ads, which makes sense, right? Then they go and they tell you that they're going to help you with the social media. Then they tell you they're going to help with takedowns, like copyright strikes and stuff like that. And they help kind of minimize that. So a lot of guys who work in like movie reviews or they work in anything like reactions where they're playing other people's media, they would sign to an MCN thinking this MCN would actually help cut down on a lot of those copyright strikes. Unfortunately, they don't do anything like that. Nothing like that. They just don't.
Now your YouTube channel is also in their name when it comes to the paycheck.
All they do is click on to appeal. They just click on appeal. That's all they do. And they write, I'm appealing this because it's fair use. Literally something that you can do. That they just take care of that for you. But then they take all that money for you. So it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit that these MCNs try to sell you just to take your money. The way they make money is they get a lot of smaller channels. So they'll have a couple big name brands, but they cut different deals with them. Those bigger brands are the reason why you're going to sign to this MCN. Then they go around, they find all the couple people who make, 20 to 100,000 subscribers that probably get 1 million views a year or something like that. They find all of them.
Ad video.
Yeah, and then they take all the ad revenue from all these smaller YouTubers, and that's how they get paid. It's not from the bigger YouTubers, even though, it does happen. Like with Defy, they kind of just took all of the revenue from these bigger guys, and they just bounced. So that's a huge problem. So you have that on top of the adpocalypse, which is what we know as, from a lot of the advertisers pulling out. You can't curse on YouTube anymore. You can't have any sort of sexual allusions in your channel, anything like that. That's a huge issue in my opinion. Adpocalypse is one of the bigger problems on YouTube. Then you have just the fact that a lot of YouTube is just like broken. There's still the whole sub box thing not working right. The whole trending page is just all paid. The trending page is the worst thing ever. It's not trend. Nothing's trending on the trending page. It's just there's just spots on there that YouTube, I guess, gets paid by these companies to promote. Then you have the dislike button, which I think needs to be removed immediately. The dislike button does absolutely nothing other than allow for brigading on videos, and it's just like a bullying button. It's not like Reddit where if you downvote something, it actually has a purpose and it lowers that. If there's something of no value, it'll lower that in the feed. On YouTube, it works the opposite. If something is massively disliked, they promote it.
It's the same.
Yeah, they promote it because it's fucking a click. So they need to remove the fucking dislike button, and they just need to assume the ad power again for them to really start kind of swinging things back the other way. Because I personally think that in the next 5 years, when most people are cutting their cable channels, they're cutting the cords everywhere. It's just going to be it's like YouTube has so much leverage in this space and they don't seem to realize that. And I really don't know if it's a YouTube issue, if it's a Google issue, but I really don't know what the future of YouTube is going to look like. Hey, bud. Oh, has he? I haven't heard you. Yeah, I don't know what the future of YouTube is going to look like. The last thing I want is them to turn into look at all the fucking YouTube premium shit that they're doing. I don't want them to turn into a Netflix. It's not what YouTube's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not. They've done so well for so long by just letting people upload whatever the fuck they want and just giving them money when the money's deserved. If you're someone who's bringing in millions of views a month, you deserve to get paid more than these guys who are on TV that only bring in 100,000 viewers per episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. They have so much more power and leverage. Hey, can you close that? Close that door. So, I'm scared, man. I'm scared for YouTube. I don't want them to fail. I really don't. I do really enjoy YouTube. I watch it all the time, man. I watch YouTube tremendously. I watch it more than I watch any other media. And I do like how easy the app is to use. Like, I like how integrated it already is into people's lives. Like, I can tell my mom and my dad, hey, go on YouTube and look at this. And they know how to do it. You know? If I told them to go on Vimeo and to find something, it's not going to fucking happen. It's just not going to happen. So, oh, we lost Jerry here. So, yeah, so that's it for this episode. I wanted to sort of touch on that a little bit, and it's something that I'm going to be following for a little bit of time, trying to track exactly what YouTube's moves are making, how YouTube is sort of going to address some of these issues like the adpocalypse, like MCNs just kind of collapsing and just taking everyone's money. Because the MCN, YouTube pays these creators. The MCN is who takes a cut. So if YouTube really wants to just kind of, regain some more power again, they can just say, hey, fuck these MCNs. Let's get rid of the whole MCN thing. We're not allowing MCNs anymore. YouTube absolutely has the ability to do that. They can pay the creators directly, considering contracts, I guess. So I want to see how I want to see them remove the dislike. Like, there's a lot of things I want to see them kind of address, and it's not looking so good. And I don't know who exactly on this. I don't know who exactly is kind of pulling the strings here, but they really need to kind of get their shit together. All right, that's it for the tech portion of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like and also subscribe. And don't forget to hit up our website, NoLife.digital. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.